Hey guys, what's going on? All right, so I'm going to build the most affordable shed there is. This is a plastic shed. This is made by a company called US Leisure. I picked it up at Home Depot and it's a 10 by 8. In my honest opinion, this is probably the best value shed that you can purchase. I bought one of these for our old house. We had it for 10 years. I didn't really have any problems with it at all. Survived all the winters. Didn't sun fade, and held up pretty nicely. If I were to describe the plastic, it's kind of like a Rubbermaid material, if you guys are familiar with that, which means basically in the cold it really doesn't get brittle, and in the summer it doesn't melt and warp. It's pretty durable, the material that it's made out of. I think it's some type of vinyl. So the cheapest sheds are actually steel sheds, but trust me guys, you don't want a steel shed. Those things are garbage, they rust, they're flimsy, they blow over in the wind. They're just terrible. I've had experiences with them, and you don't want to go there. This has got a 6-foot door, and at the time, most plastic sheds were all in the thousands. You couldn't touch anything for less than $1,000. So the first thing you start off with when you're building the shed is you're going to want to separate all your pieces and then figure out your flooring pieces. Now, I could tell you a huge mistake that I'm doing, and this is the second time I made this mistake, and I know I'm making a mistake, is when you build this shed, guys, I cannot stress this enough. You want to build on a level surface. Pour concrete slab, or use sand and then patio bricks, and make sure that is perfectly level. Do whatever you have to do to get a nice hard level surface. I'm doing this the same way I did it last time, which is wrong. I'm building it on a grass surface that's not level. Later on, I have regrets, and then I try to get patio blocks on it, and I have problems getting things like the roof panels to fit well. And if you do this, like you can see the patio blocks here, you can see my patio blocks aren't very level either. And I try to get it as level as possible, but, I tend to do things the wrong way. Don't do this, guys, or you're going to have problems. Also, another thing, have somebody help you, for crying out loud. I'm doing this by myself. I'm trying to hold things up, with 2x4s, and it's very difficult. Once you get a corner up, it starts getting a little bit easier, but honestly, you almost need 3 sides before this gets easier to do. Okay, so the pieces slide together, and then there's these little corner slide-in things that just pop in and slide down, and they lock. And then they have these little plastic pegs that screw in and lock, and it holds it pretty tight. So you can see me putting up the walls here and sliding them and locking them in place. And it was a windy day too. So, if I can do this in the wind by myself with these panels just constantly flying around and just giving me a hard time, guys, you can do this too. It does not take a mechanical genius. As long as you keep it level on your base, like I said, that's the hardest part, I think, or the most labor intensive part. The rest is just, popping in locks. And, try not to build this on a windy day like I did. There you go. You can see the wall fell. Didn't do any damage, luckily, but that was stupid. So I had to go back in and set it back up again, because it is not strong enough until you get that third wall up before it becomes somewhat structural and a little bit more sound in the wind. I'm also putting in screws to hold in the plastic. I'm drilling in screws, which you're not supposed to do. That wall fell down again. Trying to get this corner up and just fighting with the wind. Separating in the middle and the back. Man, I had a heck of a time doing this. Totally did not do this the right way professionally. But again, this just illustrates even an idiot like myself can put this thing together. Trust me, you can too. Now that I've got the 4th wall up, it starts getting really structurally strong. I have a lot less problems at this point. The walls are up. Our next step is to attach 4 bolts to our supports. So all we're doing is going to take this angle bent piece of part and slide it into this rail, and then put in a nut and a bolt to hold it together. It's a 7/16 bolt. Now that we got this one down, all we have to do is repeat the step 4 more times. So you can see these rails fit in and kind of slide in on the other rail. And then we have the 2 rails that go side by side on the sides that we're just attaching with some threaded screws. Here I'm just popping in the bolt and locking it down with a nut. As you can see, I'm having an issue with this wall right here. It's gapping. See how wide it is? Like it's not being held together. And that's, again, because like I kept warning you guys, if you don't do it on a level surface, you'll have problems like this throughout the build. Here in the instructions, now we're going to start working with the roof braces. And there's a center piece that slides in the two rails, and then we're going to put some nuts and bolts in to hold it together. So you can see the spines of it are held in with nuts and bolts on top of the roof's backbone. On this step, according to the instructions, we're going to take those two clear white plastic skylight pieces and snap them together, and it has a little piece in between that helps hold it together. So on the backbone for the roof, the white plastic just clicks into what I've been calling the spine of the backbone, I guess. There's a little spot for it, and you just got to kind of give it a good little hit with the palm of your hand, or make a fist and kind of hit it. It'll pop right in place. This part also was tricky and really stupid to do by yourself, but I did it because it's a little bit heavy and it's a little bit awkward. But I'm moving the skylight attached to the backbone and the spine pieces of the roof, and I'm just lining it up with those two rails that we put on the sides. Remember how there's a little not a right angle, but an angled piece? All you're doing is lining it up and setting it in that groove, and then we're going to run bolts to hold that together once we get it all lined up. And now that we got it lined up, I took and I ran the bolt, and it's just 4 bolts that hold it in place, just like that. And now you've got your roof trusses. According to the instructions, it's time to do the gables. These are just plastic pieces that just snap together, and there's a little shelf piece right here, snaps together, and it's front and back pieces. So we're going to go ahead and get that all clicked in place. It's fairly simple to do this, and these are pretty lightweight pieces. Like I said, it's kind of like a rubbery thing, so it is very forgiving. It's not very brittle, which is kind of nice. And so I connected them all, and I put the little shelf thing that goes on the gable, which is kind of a beam support for the front gable. So the front gable, it just kind of pops in. There's little holes, and it just kind of clicks in place. So you just line it up and get that to click in, and yeah, you are off to the races. It's not too hard to do this. Once the gable's in place, you're going to connect the support beams. It's just a hole that pops onto like a little peg, and then we're just going to simply take and run some screws to hold those in place. You're going to want to make sure that you wrap the plastic too around the gable, that's sunscreen, or that sunroof, that white plastic. This step, we're going to have some vertical supports for our gable supports. And yep, you guessed it, those rails that were already there, this rail is going to go into the plastic hole right here, and it's going to slide down and connect to that other rail. Or actually, it just goes into the wall, I'm sorry. And it's going to make it a lot stronger. It gives you a metal backing support for the gables. And then there's 2 screws, it looks like, that holds it in place. There are 4 of these that we're going to install. Next, we have above the door another metal rail that connects to the 2 rails that we just installed on the front door. Now that we have this done, this is pretty much all of the structural parts left. The only thing that we need to do now are slide in our roof panels. Once again, here I go again. My surface wasn't level, so these roof panels were really tricky to slide in place. I wind up having to fight it a little bit to get it started, and then pushing up on it as hard as I can to get it to slide in the track, using the palm of my hand to kind of pound it in place a little bit. And the idea behind this is at the top of the roof panel, it's supposed to click into the skylight. It's got little tabs that hold the roof panels in place, and that's all that holds it. Now, once I get those installed, I can't get them all the way up, even hitting it with my hand, so I'm just going to take a little piece of 2x4 and a hammer, and I pound them to where they get in place. Now, this is a modification that I like to do to this kit, and you might want to do this. So where these little tabs are, I ran on my old shed, and I'm doing it on this one as well, I ran a bunch of stainless screws, or bolts I should say, through the skylight, the white plastic, through the tab. And the reason why I did that is because, this is plastic. It's not perfect. It won't last forever. It'll eventually become brittle, and these tabs will just kind of break off, and your panels will eventually start sliding out of place. So I like to put bolts on there to improve the structure, you know, of this design. Satisfying enough, we got the roof all on. Now we're just doing the doors. So I need to put on these little pieces to make the door whole, because everything's hollow and you don't want these pieces not clicked in place. You don't want an open door. So I'm getting these all put in. Once I get those on, I've got a couple handles to put on both sides of the door. And then after that, all I got to do is get the hinges in place. Once you have the hinges in place, you just take and screw those in, and then you're all set. So this is about a year later, just to show you how she's holding up. Not too bad, you know. It's survived some storms and some high winds. You know, we had some hail, a lot of snowfall that year, and yeah, it's doing good. Just to show you its capacity here and just how big of a hoarder I can be, which I'm trying to get cleaned up because we just moved into this place. Yeah, my shed is loaded to the max, to the roof with stuff. And yeah, I'm going to need to clean this up. And as you can see, my 12-foot skeleton from Home Depot is hanging from the rafters. And I do like that rafter spot because you can put things like patio umbrellas and what have you up in there. And it's pretty handy. But I absolutely love this shed. I highly recommend it. I know a lot of people were looking online. I've read of people wanting to turn these into like tiny homes and everything. You could, I guess, but like, guys, this thing is not insulated at all. I mean, it might be a good little hunting shed. You know, I don't know. I don't know that I would use it for that, honestly, because one of the modifications I did to this was I added a 2x4 railing around the inside walls just so I could hang, you know, rakes and axes and stuff like that, you know, to give me some things to hang things from, basically, because there's no hanging storage in this shed. But let's get her locked up, and thanks for watching. I hope this video was informative. If you guys have any questions, hey, let me know. I'm glad to help you out. I love this kind of work. And check out my other videos too, guys. All right, till next time.